Okay, hello and welcome back to Dragon Fist VR Kung Fu. I'm Ben and I had lots of good suggestions and comments after the last video. It's encouraged me a lot, so thank you for that. I thought I'd do a few videos responding to some of the things people have said. Okay, so Artes UI, this is really coming along. I like that you're emphasizing not only mechanics, but getting a satisfying result from them. Very nice. So I like that comment because I think probably I spent more time trying to get things feeling pleasing than I have on the rest of it. You know, it's quite you might imagine you're just relying on the physics alone, but also it's how the AI opponents act. I've tried to make them sort of feel human. And I want it to feel like you're kind of outwitting your opponent, dealing with their attacks and trying to make them feel like they're acting like a human would. I think that makes it feel a lot more pleasing to do. But I think with a game like this, it's very easy to kind of just think of all of the features, like the obvious things that you can and can't do. So it's nice that someone's appreciated the work that goes into the more subtle parts of the game. Okay, so XXS Draps XX, quick question, will there be any sort of grabbing mechanics or possibly a headbutt mechanic? Okay, so grabbing, it's more difficult than you might imagine, so I've kind of put it on the back burner for the time being. So I'm not going to promise it's there, but you know, as I think you can push an arm down. You know, it would make sense if you could also grab and maybe pull. So I think it could be doable, but at the moment I'm trying to prioritize sort of finishing the game, finish plan A if you like, and then I might add in some more features. The headbutt, I mean, sometimes when you get close you do feel like maybe you want to throw in a headbutt, but it has some issues because, of course, the camera is attached to your head. Really, the head follows the camera. So if you kind of allow headbutts, you might end up with your sort of head inside theirs, that kind of thing. So it's not impossible. It's just it'd be quite difficult for the payoff. You know, a lot of work for something that would be a minor thing. But that said, another one for the maybe pile. Okay, so also make it so there is more than one type of damage. That way you can have the hand positions have more than just knockback to differentiate between them and their usages. So this is a reference in the last video. I mentioned sort of a finger jab and a fist or a palm. They wouldn't do much different. They would just knock back your opponent a different amount. And I did it that way because I thought, you know, if someone wants to do boxing, I don't want to be forcing them to do a palm strike. I want you to be able to do whatever tactics you like rather than any kind of artificialness like that. But that said, you know, it brought me back to an old idea I had about adding some pressure points, which you can see now. So, for example, I've got the throat here. You can if you jab the throat with your fingertips, then it does the normal damage from the hip, but also adds extra damage over time. You know, if you get a jab in the throat, that's going to hurt. In real life, it'd make you cough and splutter. Quite a dangerous place to hit. The sternum, if I hit that, quite a big target. It will just do additional damage. So with all of these things, you know, I think it feels quite good. It feels quite like real life. If you hit someone in the chest, not everywhere is the same. So if you hit someone in the sternum, so right in the middle on the breastbone, that will do more damage than if you hit maybe a muscle or something like that. So often this will be, yeah, you'll hit these more by accident than chance, or you know, maybe you will. But I feel it's added a lot to the combat. Really, it makes it it's added some depth, and you can use different tactics. So if you want to try and hit the pressure points, you can. But if you get over focused on it, then you know, it can be a bit distracting. So solar plexus. Okay, so you see it says winded there. So in the game, there's a stamina system. You have your overall health, and then the stamina is like another bar or another meter that is lower than that. So if your stamina drops down to 0, you can get knocked out even though you might have health remaining. So it's encouraging you, like you take a big hit, you hear yourself start breathing heavily, and you know, you might want to move away and recover before you go in. So you don't always want to be piling in, which yeah. So if you hit the solar plexus, it'll wind them. That recovery time will take longer. So it's not a big effect, but it just you know, it just adds a bit more depth to the combat. Okay, so the eye. You get blind light. So I've called it blind light because there's a special move that does a far more severe blinding effect. If you get hit in the eye, you'll see your eyes sort of squint, and it makes it a bit harder to see what's going on. If you do it to the AI, I mean, not that it'll be obvious, but they won't quite know exactly where you are. So if you've jabbed them in the eye, then their next punch might not be quite where you are. Or, you know, they might be a bit inaccurate, or they might, you know, punch a bit short. That kind of thing. Okay, right eye, same kind of effect. Yeah, the bicep. So you see the arm went a bit weird there, but what it does is it kind of weakens the arm a bit for a while. So it's the idea is like you've punched the muscle, you've hurt the muscle, it weakens the arm. So you have to get the arms out of the way sometimes in order to do them. So I don't know if you can see quite on that video, but the arms are a bit weaker. So that can happen to you as well. If that's happened to you, it makes it harder to block and harder to get through their guard. Okay, floating rib. So again, it's the winded effect, but you'll see it doesn't knock them back as much as a normal hit would. This is like if you get a quick dig in the ribs, it doesn't send you flying, it just makes you kind of fold over slightly. So I can imagine you getting a couple of good digs in, and then, you know, a bigger hit to send them flying, perhaps. Groin. That adds a pain effect again, so again, damage over time. You know, I quite like with the groin, sometimes you've moved the guard out, they're quite close, bang, you can just hit a low groin strike in. Okay, so the knee. If you hit the knees, it slows their walking speed for a while. So yeah, which you know does have quite an impact if people when they can't run away so quickly. It makes it easier to go and hit them. Whether I'll be commonly going down for the knee, I'm not sure, but it's you know, it's nice to have that option there. So as I can't remember if I mentioned, but some of these pressure points need different hand positions. So like the eye, if I punched it, it will tell me use fingers. It tells me that during this practice mode. In the main battle, it won't. So yeah, so some require certain hand positions in order to hit. The throat's the other one. It needs the fingertips in order to work. Okay, so now they're lit up. That's kind of all the options I've put in at the moment. You know, I could potentially do more, but I think maybe that's enough to be going on. The other obvious one might be the temples on the side of the head, but I'm not sure. In a way, one of the good things about these pressure points is it encourages you to hit different areas. So I think when I was doing it, I was often just going for the head the whole time, striking it. But now it's got these pressure points. Sometimes I'll go for the rib, that kind of thing. So yes, as I said, it adds more depth to the combat. Okay, moving on. Okay, that and having stuff and maps you can pick up and throw. So that would be fun. I agree. I think I'll I think again it's on the wish list. I've got a level. I've got like a restaurant level, so it might be fun to have some plates and things around to grab and throw. I've already got some throwing weapons as some of the special moves. So yeah, so again, it's a bit more difficult than you would imagine, but I think it will be worth it. I've also got a level that's a sort of evil cult place, and it has candles, so the candles maybe would be fun for throwing about. Okay, Arthur. Okay, so Arthur's, I know Arthur, he's done some writing or lots of writing for Starfighter Infinity, my other game on Steam, which is a space combat RPG game, which I've been working on for 3 years. So check that out. And nice to see you here, Arthur. So wow, the environment looks like it's tons of fun. Okay, so that's referring to the training chambers in the last video. And yeah, they are where you're smashing up pots and things like that, and breaking bits of wood. I think it would be fun if the environments could be a bit more interactive. So again, going back to that restaurant, I can imagine maybe you'll go to a table, you'll chuck a plate, and then maybe karate chop the table in half, that kind of thing. That might be quite cool. You know, I just think details like that would be pretty sweet. Okay, and the guard break mechanic looks amazing. So the guard break, again, that's the bashing the arms out the way, that kind of thing. So bashing an arm, bang. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. I think Creed, another VR fighting game that I recommend, Rocky game. It's good, but it's all boxing, and I think what's boxing, there isn't really any, of course there's no grabbing going on or anything like that, or any moving guards out the way. So I thought, as it's sort of kung fu, you want to be able to block. Well, basically I want you to be able to have all the different options of how to deal with them. So so trying to get around people's guards, I mean, it will depend on their fighting style, of course. Like some people will have their hands up like this, but some will have sort of hands in different positions. Some people have got them in the middle, some people have got them outside. So that's all part of the game, trying to work out how to beat each person. So yes. Okay, so thank you, Arthur. Okay, YouTuber 355. It's crazy how the best VR games are created either by a small team or a single dev. This game looks great and promising. Yeah, well, that's very kind of you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think the thing is, with a game like this, I think a big studio would think of it as a bit of a risk. I mean, VR in general is a risk because it's a small section of the market, and then doing a kung fu game is an even more niche section of the market. So I think for me, this is something I feel like I can do well, and it's a theme that I'm into. So basically, it's a game that I want to play and I want to see exist. Okay, you ever think about adding abilities like Marvel Iron Fist or AMC's into the Badlands Dark Ones like powers? Well, I'm not familiar with either of those, but I think I do have lots of special moves. That some are more magic based, some more realistic. So if you've got any good videos on YouTube that you think I should have a look at, I do need more ideas for special moves. So that would be great. Yeah, I have moves in the game. Some will send out like a blast from your hand. There's one that sends out like a shockwave, that kind of thing. So in kung fu movies in general, they normally don't really have, or they didn't used to have things in the way of special effects in that way. It was more implied in the movement, like they would do a palm strike and the other guy would just go flying backwards, and they would pretend that was sort of magic force going through the air. But given that this is a game, I figured it may as well have some magic effects and things like that in, but also it helps you see what's going on, so it's, you know, it's useful. But yeah, some moves are more reality based, as I said, some are more sort of magical. Okay, will you add a sandbox mode to mess around and practice in? Well, that's basically this room. So I made this room as a room to practice the special move, but I've also since added the pressure points. You know, you of course can just have a play around, have a hit, or you can practice the special move. So this move is the spear fist. You see, launches me forward. I have to do a pose, press the special move button, and then I shoot in suddenly and hit him. You'll see if I hit the first time I hit his hands, so it stops moves in its tracks. So when the opponent's doing that move at you, you see them do the pose and you think, quick, get your guard up, and then they shoot in and you block them. Or you're a bit slow off the mark and they catch you by surprise. It's quite a fun move, and that's the move of Inochi Takahashi, who is one of the samurai characters in the game, who I am now. Okay, so let me know if there's anything else you'd like to mess around in, as you say, in the sandbox. Yeah, as I say, you can just give them a bit of a clout and practice your moves. In the main fight, of course, they're moving around a lot more than this, so they're a bit harder to catch. So it's a good idea. Last one. You ever think about adding feet tracking for kicking? Well, that's an interesting one. I haven't got feet trackers, but it would be fun, wouldn't it? I think. So I think it's one of those things. So maybe after I've got the rest of it working, maybe I could add that. I don't see any reason why not. I think it could certainly work. To a degree, I think the room I'm in, I think, as in the real world room, I think I would probably break my foot on a wall doing that. But I think lots of people have bigger rooms anyway. But also, you know, there's limits to the amount of kicks you'll be able to do wearing with the VR stuff. I mean, I'm not going to be doing any cyclone kicks or anything like that. But, you know, I don't see any reason for some, you know, normal kicks coming in. That could be fun. So I'll say for that, watch this space. You know, it also makes you think about the other stuff you can get for VR. Like, I know there's a haptic vest, and I think that would be pretty cool if whenever you sort of received a punch, you felt it as well. But those haptic vests, I think, are pretty expensive, and at the moment, you know, I haven't really got loads of money to be playing around with. So maybe these things will be things for after release if the game is doing well. Okay, keep up the good work. I'm looking forward to your progress. Well, thank you for the comments. I hope this video has been of interest. Thanks for watching. If anyone else has any other questions, there were lots of other questions, lots of posts from people. I do want to reply to those as well, but I think I'll save them for another video. Okay, thanks again. Catch you later.